This is Ogtv.
A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on the Ogtv Comprehensive News in English. My name is Kemi Ewidairu Yusuf. Tonight on the news, Ogun State Government insures primary school pupils. House of Representatives opens debate on 2019 appropriation bill. Opposition stages mass protest in Venezuela to topple government. Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things.
And business news. Federal government considers increasing value-added tax. I will be giving you details on this and other stories when I return on the business news segment. I am Olayinka Shodunke.
And on sport news tonight, Hope dashes on missing plane with a footballer on board. Details of this and more later on the news. My name is Moses Ojewumi.
We begin tonight from the health sector. Efficient healthcare delivery system is one of the 5 cardinal programs of the current administration in Ogun State, and in the past 7 years, the sector has taken a paradigm shift from what it used to be. In this special report, Elizabeth Esson takes a look at the achievements of Governor Ibikunle Amosun-led government in the health sector.
Over 7 years of the current administration in Ogun State, with its mission to rebuild agenda driven by the 5 cardinal programs, has transformed the state to an enviable height in all ramifications. One of the major sectors in the state that the 5 cardinal points agenda focused on is the health sector, and over the years, the administration has switched the sector from its deplorable state to a position of international standard. From the first 4 years to the second term of the present administration in the state, over 100 primary health centers were renovated with basic social amenities provided, employment of healthcare service providers, purchase of new ambulances in all the hospitals, and provision of modern healthcare facilities to all hospitals in the state as part of the mission to rebuild agenda.
Other interventions include our focus on healthcare workers and upgrading of primary health care centers and hospitals that have continued to have positive impacts on maternal and newborn health, with an increased rate of attendance at antenatal clinics and of deliveries by skilled birth attendants. Indeed, construction is at an advanced stage for an ultra-modern 250-bed hospital with world-class amenities, which will be completed by May 2019. These facilities, when completed, will greatly impact the health status and well-being of a larger population of our people.
No one is left out in the free healthcare policy of this administration. Both children, pregnant women, and the aged were direct beneficiaries of this policy.
In the last 2 rounds of our maternal child health with support through the special project that we have seen here, we have immunized an average of 1.2 million children every time we have this session.
Araya, a community health insurance scheme by the Senator Ibikunle Amosun-led administration, was also initiated to make qualitative healthcare service available to the citizenry at a lower rate.
Under the community-based health insurance scheme, Araya, and other health projects, we recorded more registration of communities across the 20 local governments and 37 LCDAs. These are in addition to our administration continuing program of free health care for pregnant women, children under 5, and the elderly. Similarly, economically disadvantaged women who register for Araya are also eligible for our Gbomoro program. Pregnant women receive a transport allowance when they visit antenatal clinics, and they receive further allowance as well as mama kits when they give birth in government-owned health facilities.
It is worthy of note that the over 7 years of Senator Ibikunle Amosun-led administration has been able to put smiles on the faces of the citizens in terms of making affordable healthcare service delivery available. Elizabeth Esson, Ogtv News.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Alhaji Shafir Rashid, has described pupils in the state primary schools as the centerpiece of educational development. The Permanent Secretary, who made the observation while signing a memorandum of understanding between the state government and 4 insurance companies engaged by the ministry to underwrite welfare insurance scheme for pupils in the state primary schools in his office at Okimoson, added that it was for this reason that prompted the state government to place high premium on the provision of affordable and qualitative education, adding that the presence of pupils brings teachers and facilities in schools which make teaching and learning possible.
The government cares much about the welfare of the student, and if you have this part, that's why this kind of affair was initiated. So you now want to take what diligence in past, do it conscientiously. They want to all you. Whenever any issue of claim comes up, please attend to it promptly.
While admonishing representatives of the underwriting insurance companies to adhere strictly to the terms contained in the MOU, especially in the area of prompt payment of claims, the Permanent Secretary told them that the ministry would monitor their activities on a regular basis. Earlier, the ministry's Director of Primary and Higher Education, Mr. Oluola Aikulola, said government will expect maximum cooperation, openness and prompt payment of premium from the underwriter. He also added that monitoring machinery will be put in place to ensure strict compliance with the MOU. Responding on behalf of his colleagues, Mr. Abayomi Babalola pledged the company's total commitment to the scheme. He also promised not to betray the confidence reposed in them. Governor Ibikunle Amosun's senatorial campaign tour to Abeokuta North has reached Agoku, Elega, Ilugun, Iberekodo, Ikija wards to press home the need for the electorate to vote President Muhammadu Buhari and himself in during the general elections. Governor's office correspondent Bumi Adigun completes the story. Report in the course of the bulletin. Political office holders in Ogun State who recently disengaged to run for one office or the other, that is, the Chief of Staff, consultants, commissioners, special advisors, senior special assistants, personal assistants, are advised to visit the office of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Federal Secretariat, Okimoson, Abeokuta, to obtain one assets declaration form for the end of tenure declaration immediately without delay. A statement from the State Director, Rabiu E.O., says this is in line with the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, 5th Schedule, Part 1, which states that a public officer should declare his or her assets at the point of entry and exit from public office. Still ahead, House of Representatives opens debate on 2019 appropriation bill. Details of this and other stories when we return. Please join us again.
much easier. They brought us per second billing, unbelievable data packages, and even an optic fiber cable to make sure we optimize. There are two things in our lives which depend on this: communication and information, voice and data. Whether you sell, buy, learn, teach, serve, or lead, it really comes down those two things: voice or data. Today's world is all about you. You want what you want, how you want it, and Glow delivers. The freedom to use voice and data the way you like on every recharge. Easy.
Glow Yakata, a heavyweight voice and data plan. You charge 100 naira and get 2,200 naira. Minimum 500 naira to call all networks and 10 friends and family. Plus all the data you need, up to 6 gigabytes. Buy a Glow SIM or dial *220# to migrate.
Glow, grandmasters of data.
Welcome back. A special working committee that will interface between the government and the people living along the borderline of Ogun State will be set up by the Allied People's Movement to checkmate many challenges being faced by residents if voted into power. Gubernatorial candidate of the party, Honorable Abdulkabir Adekunle Akinlade, stated this while addressing the people of Obafemi Owode during his campaign tour to the council area. Peter Falom has the details.
People's Movement campaign tour to Obafemi Owode local government area kicks off with blessings from royal fathers in the council area.
Honorable Akinlade won't go for Ogun State. Orí Ọlọ́run, ibi táwọn tó bá lọ làwa ń lọ àbí pamọ́. Continuity is very, very important in anything in life.
Àwọn agbègbè wa, àwọn àbá wa, gbogbo ẹ̀rọ anílọ́pọ̀ láti lè gbé ọ̀nà dé tí a lè máa mú ìlọsíwájú dé gbogbo rẹ̀. Nítorí pé àwọn òkè tí ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn lè lọsíwájú, a gbọ́dọ̀ lẹ́tọ̀ pé àwọn ìlú tó kù àtàwọn agbègbè wa gbogbo náà wà ní economically viable.
In his visit to ward centers at Arepo, Magboro, Ibafo and Orimerumu units, all under Ofada Ward, APM gubernatorial candidate Honorable Adekunle Akinlade assures the people that the party will take care of the interests of residents in the area as well as security of lives and property.
Between two states. And I can tell you that development will reach every angle of our state.
Honorable Akinlade assured the people that the set objectives of APM for the people will be fulfilled should the party be voted for at the polls. The people speak about the vision of the party and its flag bearer.
Lágbára àwọn èèyàn, lágbára tá a tara ẹ̀ jáde, kò ní jásá sán ẹ ti wọlé lágbára Ọlọ́run ọba. Torí pé gbogbo Gbàgbòrò community a wà lẹ́yìn yín láàárọ̀ lọ́sàn-án lálẹ́.
He said he's going to keep to what Governor Amos has started. And he has started with the road that is 7.5 kilometers to Abule Oba. So I believe that with him coming in, he should be able to finish the project.
Adekunle Amosu has promised us and he has done a lot for us. And this is time for us to pay him back by voting for Honorable Abdulkabir Adekunle Akinlade.
There was an increase in APM party membership as more than 100 people decamped to the party at Mowe area.
With their slogan, it has really shown that this is the party we need to move to because it's mission to victory. That is why we said we are going to move into APM. And everybody has supported me. And that is why we come out together in mass to come to join APM.
Ogun APM governorship candidate, Honorable Akinlade, was full of appreciation to the people of Mokoloki, Onidundu, Moloko Ashipa, Oba, and Aluwonle for keeping faith with the party. He urges them to vote maximally for APM during the general elections.
I know I have a duty to handle it well, to run our state well. Then I have the moral right to ask your generation what to do with it. Thank you.
Campaign tour in the local government area continues. Peter Falomo, Ogtv News.
Meanwhile, Ogun State Allied People's Movement gubernatorial candidate Honorable Adekunle Akinlade took time out to visit Owode-Yewa, venue of the clash between the officers of the Nigeria Customs Service and some residents in the area on a condolence visit. The ugly incident is reported to have claimed 4 lives, with several others sustaining various degrees of injuries. He was joined by the APM candidate for the Federal House of Representatives, Ikukia Egbado South Federal Constituency, Honorable Kolawole Lawal, the party's candidate for the State Assembly Yewa South, Mrs. Latifat Bolanle Ajayi, and that of Ikukia State Constituency, Mrs. Sikirat Ajibola. Honorable Adekunle and the other candidates, after visiting the families of the victims, was also at the site of the shootouts and later visited the palace of Olu of Owode-Yewa.
Òfin wà very clearly tí ọba commit offence nǹkan tó òfin sọ ni pé kó arrest ẹni náà kó mú lọ police station kó dẹ̀ charge sí court ló lè dáyọ̀ lẹ́jọ́ kò sí òfin tó ní kó pààyàn.
Still on politics, Allied People's Movement candidate for Ogun State House of Assembly, Ijebu-Ode State Constituency, Honorable Tola Banjo, has promised the people of the constituency more dividends of democracy if given the mandate in the forthcoming general elections. Honorable Banjo stated this during his campaign flag-off ceremony held at Oyinbu Garage in Ijebu-Ode local government area. Yusuf Ganiu reports.
The campaign flag-off of Allied People's Movement candidate for the Ogun State House of Assembly, Ijebu-Ode State Constituency, Honorable Tola Banjo, started from Oyigbo in Ijebu-Ode local government area. The campaign rally cum solidarity trek took Honorable Banjo and his supporters round some notable areas in Ijebu-Ode to seek the electorate support in the forthcoming general elections. The people describe Honorable Tola Banjo as a man whose contribution to Ijebu-Ode constituency is immeasurable.
He has represented us in the past, and he represented Ijebu-Ode constituency very well. Tola Banjo is a very good person. He's a very good man. He has been with his people. He has empowered them. He has granted them a lot of things. Honorable Banjo is a good politician, grassroots politician.
Honorable Tola Banjo reflected that Allied People's Movement Party will sustain the mission agenda of the current administration in the state.
I just need to tell my people that party can change, but personality remains the same. I still remain Tola Banjo, their son that went the other time and brought back dividends of democracy. So if given the opportunity to go again, I definitely going to make sure Sky is not our starting point, it's not our limit, but it's going to be our starting point. We are going to make sure that with myself and Abdul Kabir Adekunle Akinlade Triple, by God's grace, our incoming governor, we are going to put smile in the face of the people of Ijebu-Ode and Ogun East at large.
Honorable Banjo urged everyone to get their permanent voter cards to enable them elect candidates of their choice in the general elections. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
Members of the Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union Ratau Ogun State Television Chapter have elected new officials that will run the affairs of the union for the next 2 years. Adebola Oshomuji reports that Comrade Kemi Oladende was re-elected as chairman of the union, while Comrade Kunle Idowu emerged as the new secretary.
The Radio, Television, Theatre Arts Workers Union of Nigeria, RATAU, is an umbrella body comprising of all radio, television and theatre arts actors making positive impact in the communication world. In fulfilling its aims and objectives, the Ogun State Television chapter of the union conducted an election to elect new executive in accordance with the constitution of the union.
The reason why we are here is to do the election for our leaders that are going to take us for another 2 years in this chapter. Based on this list that is with me, as the acting state chairman of our union, RATAU, Ogun State Council, the election will start now.
And the part of our election was that no executive member is entitled to more than 2 terms. That is, if you have 1 term, you are fit to contest for the 2nd term, after which you are no more eligible.
Those elected officers are Comrade Kemi Oladeinde as chairman, Comrade Lanre Shoremekun vice chairman, Kunle Idowu secretary, Peju Erinyosho financial secretary, Nuruddin Adegbule public relations officer, Jide Akinpelu auditor, Bolaji Ajasa treasurer, while Adeoye Cosmos emerged assistant secretary.
To abide by the dictates of the constitution of our great union.
The re-elected chairman, Comrade Kemi Oladeinde, in her acceptance speech, encourages fellow comrades to be transparent in their dealings and maximize their efforts in the growth of the union.
We are once again pledging our unalloyed support to the management of Ogtv, pledging our services to our fellow comrades. But one thing I will not fail to mention is that I want to plead to us all, my fellow comrades, let's work hard. If we have been working hard, let's put in more effort and work harder.
There were goodwill messages for executive members of Ogtv RATAU.
We're supposed to be working hand in hand, and that is what we have experienced here over the years. And I want to implore us that we should continue in that spirit.
And we will continue to join for as much as we can. We don't pray to have any confrontation.
I want all of you to work with her. Even if you see something that you don't like, just call her, talk to her, and I know God will be with all of you.
But I would like to encourage her. She should endeavor to unite everybody. Union is about fellowship.
The new executive members promised to see the welfare of members. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
We now go back to the story on the senatorial campaign tour of Governor Ibikunle Amosun. Governor Ibikunle Amosun's senatorial campaign tour to Abeokuta North has reached Agoko, Elega, Ilugun, Iberekodo, Ikija wards to press home the need for the electorate to vote President Muhammadu Buhari and himself in during the general elections. Governor's office correspondent Bumi Adigun has to report.
That in this coming election, this will be our best election ever. We did promise Mr. President that he is going to get indeed the highest vote ever that's recorded for any president. That's what we want to give to him. So dead or alive, I can say that here. So we are ready, everybody is ready. Look at it. If you come here, you say Buhari, say Baba, everybody knows what to do. And for my own, of course, we shouldn't blow our trumpet. Even people ask me that we shouldn't be campaigning, but that will amount to taking them for granted. Yes, they have been supporting me. Yes, they have showed love, they have showed cooperation, and we have reciprocated their good gesture by working for them day and night, and they appreciate it.
It was the continuation of senatorial campaign of Governor Ibikunle Amosun to the remaining 8 wards in Abeokuta North local government, and the train starts from Ward 3 in Agoko area of Abeokuta. from the leaders of the party, Honorable Said Dada, who is the councillor of the ward, youth leader, women leader, chiefs, and other party faithful of the ward. They assured Governor Ibikule Amusun of their support as they promised to deliver the word for him.
We don't have anything to say. So come down the next election, we shall see our marvelous defeat of them.
From Agoko, the train moved to Elega, where marketsmen and women were already on ground to receive the governor whom they described as a governor with human face. As they say, the ongoing road along the axis will be completed. Ilugun, Iberekodo, Ikija, and Okeagowu were other wards visited by the governor, and the reception was massive. Governor Amusun solicited for votes from these wards and assured them of more goodies before the end of his administration. Governor Amusun used the medium to tell distractors who think Ogun State will be a testing ground during the elections to steer clear.
INEC chairman, and he did mention all of those things, all checks that they are put in place to correct all of this. Technology will have to play its part, and that's why card reader will play its part. So it's even difficult for people to want to rig. And let me use this opportunity for people that is having ideas that they want to rig. I know these are people that are in high offices. I don't want to be mentioning names. All of them, when you hear they want to rig, they should not be remembered of bringing their place. I mean, we don't want any bloodshed. The way it is, nobody. People are more than ready. We don't want the incidents of, Omoburi, that time and all of those that happen in Do everywhere. The way it is now, clearly they know this election, even if people will be second, third, it will be very distant, really. We are no God, we've said it, and clearly they know that we are. Is it under this place we are going every day? People are ready for them, or not me. People are ready, determined that nobody can come and maybe upturn or steal their votes. No, that's what we are doing. All of them are ready. They know. They tell me that don't worry, let them come, we are ready for them.
The campaign train has touched 4 out of 6 local government areas and remains Ifo and Abeokuta South local governments under the Ogun Central Senatorial Districts to be visited. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
Away from electoral matters, the presidency says it has transmitted a bill for legislation to the National Assembly on the new national minimum wage. Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, who disclosed this, said it hoped the legislature will expedite deliberation on the bill. The National Council of State had approved 30,000 naira as new minimum wage for federal workers, while that of state workers was pegged at 27,000 naira. Organized Labour has, however, kicked against the disparity, while it has scheduled a meeting for Friday, 25th of January 2019 to discuss the development. The House of Representatives has debated the 2019 appropriation bill of more than 88 trillion naira with a call on government to ensure that its impact is felt across all sectors. Leading the debate on the budget, House Leader Femi Gbajabiamila said the document reflects commitment of the APC-led government to sustainable growth and development in all parts of the country. The debate on the budget will continue on Thursday. Troops of the Nigerian Army have reportedly killed 58 armed bandits, freeing 75 kidnapped victims in Zamfara. The troops of Operation Shaharan Daji carried out the operation at Dumburum and Gando forests of the state. According to the Operations Acting Force Information Officer, Major Clement Abiade, the bandits were killed on 20th January 2019. He said during the encounter, the bandits were forced to abandon their campus due to superior firepower in a fierce gun battle that lasted several hours. Some items were recovered during the operation. They include 5 variegated national rifles, 4 AK rifles, 10 locally made rifles, 1 locally fabricated pistol, and 40 motorcycles. Unfortunately, 2 soldiers and 2 members of the vigilante group lost their lives in the encounter. Recently, during the inaugural conference with commissioners of police and other senior officers, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, ordered the immediate disbandment of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, Special Investigation Panel, and Special Tactical Squad. In this special report, Elizabeth Esson gives details on reasons for the disbandment and the reactions of Nigerians. Her report.
Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, Special Investigation Panel, and Special Tactical Squad are security outfits carved out from the Nigeria Police Force by the former Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to handle more sensitive security cases, but their operations were centralized into Federal SARS despite their location in the states. On assumption of office, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Muhammadu Adamu Abubakar, ordered the disbandment of these security outfits to be domiciled under the direct supervision of the Commissioners of Police in the 36 states of the Federation.
All you need to do is for the police to have this moral thing, to be professional. And I'm happy the man is saying police will be professional under me. We have ethics of the profession and we are going to follow it. If the police is professional, the bad eggs weeded out.
This could be traced to the directive of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in August 2018, to the former IGP, Ibrahim Idris, to overhaul the management and activities of SARS. Osinbajo's action came a week after he sacked the Director General of DSS for an authorized deployment of masked personnel to the National Assembly complex.
The fact that anytime Vice President Osinbajo acted, he was very, very firm on whatever he was doing. I see it as a follow-up because, and I think it's ingenious on the part of the Acting Inspector General of Police, because when taking the baton from Idris, he studied the situation. He looked at the strength of the police, he looked at the weaknesses of the police, and he decided to overhaul the entire thing.
The action of the acting IGP, Mohammed Adamu Abubakar, is timely, as the commissioners of police and states understand their terrain and closer than the federal officials.
So it's a very good development that will enhance effective performance, and then we also even check the perceived and alleged abuses and the public complaints against these people, because the man who is supervising them is in Abuja. He will not know what is happening in Ogun State, but the man in Ogun State has his eyes and ears here in Ogun State, and it can easily be reached by the people. And of course, the fear will be in the minds of the policemen that our supervisor is here in Abeokuta, they can easily reach him. So it's a welcome development.
As the nation is approaching general elections and transition, there is need for security agencies to be checkmated appropriately in order to align with their constitutional roles and duty of protecting lives and property, as well as maintenance of law and order. Elizabeth Esson, Ogtv News.
4 persons have died as a result of Lassa hemorrhagic fever in Plateau State. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Kuden Kamshak, said 22 suspected cases were taken for samples and 13 were later confirmed to have the virus, out of which 4 did not survive. Kamshak further explained that the remaining patients are being managed at Bingham Teaching Hospital as well as the Jos University Teaching Hospital, where they are responding to treatment. He said the primary contacts are also being monitored by the surveillance team. The outbreak is currently prevalent in Jos North, Jos South, Shendam-Basa, and Riom local government areas of the state. With the resurgence of the disease, the federal government has activated emergency response centers in the country. Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Chikwe Ikekwazu, announced this in a statement signed by him on Tuesday. The NSCDC boss added that recent epidemiological data showed that the trend usually occurs during dry season between January and April. As of 31st January 2019, a total of 60 confirmed cases have been reported in 8 states, he stated. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center of Disease Control says Nigerians need not panic over the rising cases of Lassa fever because it has initiated measures to combat the disease in the country. The advice was expressed in a statement by the Chief Executive Officer, NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Ikekwazu, in Abuja. Ikekwazu said that preparations for this year's emergency phase, NCDC had been providing support to states, including emergency supplies and deployment of rapid response teams. He said that the RRTs will work with states in response coordination, contact, tracing, case management, risk communication, and strengthening infection prevention and control practices. According to him, as of January 13, about 60 confirmed cases were reported in 8 states. Coming up on the business segment of the news, the federal government considers increasing value-added tax. These and other reports when we come back.
Welcome to the business news segment. The federal government has unveiled its strategic revenue growth initiative in order to create more revenue to finance national development assets. Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who launched the initiative, said the aim of launching the revenue growth initiative was to harmonize efforts of all the revenue-generating agencies towards boosting accrueds into the government coffers. The program was also to sustain revenue generation in all sectors and maintain fiscal buoyancy and resilience. The minister added that there would be a VAT increase during the course of 2019, while the items due for rate increase will be announced later. The Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele has hinted that the Apex Bank would blacklist importers of some restricted items, which totals 42. Emefiele, who was answering questions after the meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, at the bank's headquarters in Abuja, said the CBN will get even more aggressive to see to it that any or all food items that can be produced in Nigeria and consumed and are currently being imported into Nigeria will be included on the Forex restriction lists. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria cautioned the federal government against the increasing debt level in the country. The committee warned that except the federal government come up with measures to address the country's debt level, Nigeria debt burden might rise to pre-2005 Paris Club level. In 2005, Nigeria and the Paris Club announced a final agreement for debt relief worth $18 billion and an overall reduction of Nigeria's debt stock by $30 billion. The deal was completed on April 21, 2006, when Nigeria made its final payment and its books were cleared of any Paris Club debt. Based on statistics released by the Debt Management Office, Nigeria's debt profile as of June 30, 2018 was $22.08 billion. Fuel depots are now loading effortlessly following the repair of 25 million-litre tanks at the Ejigbo satellite depot of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC. Prior to this period, marketers were experiencing issues loading their trucks as those tanks were not in good shape and unable to meet demands from the depot. However, the story changed 2 months ago when NNPC concluded the repair of the tanks as part of efforts to fix the 20 depot of the corporation in the country. International oil price reversed its 2-week upward movement, slashing $22 to over at 60.90 cents over fears of excess supply from non-OPEC member nations, especially the price of Brent, West Texas Intermediate and OPEC basket stood at $60.92, $52.18 and $59.63 respectively. At the current price, Nigeria's 2019 budget benchmark of $60 per barrel appears strengthened again. However, despite the fall in the general price level, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, remained optimistic of achieving market stability. And that's it on the business news segment. I am Olayinka Shodunke. The rest of the news continue shortly.
Some foreign news now. 4 people have reportedly died in overnight clashes as mass opposition protests get underway in Venezuela. Hundreds of thousands joined the march in a bid to topple President Nicolas Maduro's government. The protests will mark 61 years since the fall of the country's military dictatorship in 1958. National Assembly President Juan Guaido, who organized the march, called it a historic appointment. Overnight, a 16-year-old died as a result of firearm injury. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence, meanwhile, has signaled his support for the opposition. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump says he recognizes Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido as interim president. Mr. Guaido, who called for the demonstrations, declared himself acting leader in Caracas. Mr. Maduro was sworn in for a second term earlier this month, amidst widespread allegations of vote rigging. Tens of thousands of Venezuelans are taking to the streets in protest against President Nicolas Maduro. Coming up on the sports segment of the news, Moses Ojelmi will be serving you an update on the missing plane with a footballer on board. To join us again.
Welcome to the sports segment of the news, and let's start with the sad one. There is no hope of finding missing Cardiff City footballer Emiliano Sala alive. A rescue official said the Argentine striker, 28, and a pilot were on board the plane which lost contact off Adenine in the Channel Islands on Monday night. Chief Officer, Channel Island Air Search, John Fitzgerald, said even the most fit person would only last a few hours in the water. The search for the missing aircraft and its occupants resumed on Wednesday. Salah reportedly sent a WhatsApp voice message to family, sounding conversational and jokey. He said he was so scared. And we can confirm to you that Juventus striker Gonzalo Higuain has completed his loan move to Chelsea. The Argentine 31 has been released from his loan to AC Milan, where he has scored 8 goals in 22 games. Higuain did not sign before Wednesday's midday deadline and cannot play in Thursday's Carabao Cup semi-final second leg against Tottenham. In 2015-2016 at Napoli under Sarri, Higuain equaled the Serie A goal-scoring record with 36 goals. He's a very strong striker, especially my first season at Naples, said Sarri. Still in Europe, Arsenal has announced the departure of goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, who has joined the championship side Reading on loan for the remainder of 2018-2019 season. 26-year-old joined the Gunners from Argentine side Independiente when he was just 17, who has only made 14 first-team appearances for the club since his arrival. Martinez has already taken in a multitude of loan moves during his time on Arsenal's books, including temporary switches to Oxford United, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotterdam United, Wolves, and most recently, La Liga's Getafe in 2017-2018 season. And now to the world of sports, where Serena Williams was dumped out of the Australian Open quarterfinals on Wednesday as Karolina Pliskova saved 4 match points in a remarkable comeback win. Having trailed by a set and a break, Williams looked to have powered a way out of trouble when she moved 5-1 ahead in the deciding set. But incredibly, Pliskova won 6 games in a row to set up a last 4 clash with Naomi Osaka, saving 1 match point at 5-1 and 3 more at 5-4 to win 6-4, 4-6, 7-5 and reach a first semi-final in Melbourne. And lastly, 6-time champion Novak Djokovic reached the Australian Open semi-finals after Japan's 8th seed Kei Nishikori retired injured in their quarter-final. Serbia's Djokovic was leading 6-1, 4-1 when Nishikori quit with a tie problem. The top seed will face Lucas Pouille in Friday's semi-final after the Frenchman defeated Milos Raonic. Spanish second seed Rafael Nadal and Greece's talented 21-year-old Stefanos Tsitsipas will contest the other semi-final on Thursday. And that wraps up the sports segment of the news. The rest of the bulletin continues shortly with Kemi.
We now bring you the weather forecast for Thursday. And that's the weather forecast for Thursday. But before we go, the words of Peter Drucker: efficiency is doing things right, effectiveness is doing the right things. And now a quick look at the top stories of the bulletin. Ogun State government has signed a memorandum of understanding on welfare insurance package for primary school pupils. The House of Representatives has opened debate on the 2019 appropriation bill of 8.8 trillion naira. We also told you that the federal government is considering increasing value-added tax of some items. And from the foreign segment, the opposition is staging mass protests in Venezuela to topple President Nicolas Maduro's government. And from the world of sports, we told you that a rescue team's hope has been dashed of finding the missing plane with a footballer on board. And that's the news. Thank you for watching. You have a lovely night rest. Good night.